Before creation, and before the Creator, there was an infinite ocean of nothing. Call it the unmanifest void, or God's unconscious, the sea of Brahma. Call it the darkness that precedes the light of creation, the sleep into which all beings and things, even God Himself, must inevitably fall. Every so often, creation falls into the darkness and the sleep cycle that will remain for 311 trillion years. This is the Mahapralaya cycle, which we as fans were lucky enough to see written by the author J.M. De Matteis, first appearing in 2015's Justice League Dark, issue 39. Pralaya is the inescapable cosmic slumber that awaits all things within the boundary of creation. All 14 realms of the Hinduistic cosmology revert to a state of zero inertia, only to be reset and refreshed for a time until the next cycle of Brahma Pralaya begins again. Pralaya is the cosmic sea of nothing, a void at the bottom of creation and called the Garbhodaka Ocean. In this wonderful Hinduism cosmic map that an illustrator has made, we can see that the ocean is not a void that contains the sum of existence, but rather the bottom ground floor of the cosmic chart. During the time of this great cataclysm, creation will fall into the depths of this ocean known as Pralaya, and to be reborn anew. Another term for this location is called the casual ocean, which is also referred to as the Garbhodaka. But interestingly, this is not the first time we've seen the Garbhodaka Ocean in DC and Vertigo comics. There's an ocean of nothing at the bottom of everything. This is where the world was drowned before Brahma rose it from its depths. This is where Lucifer now sinks. Here, beyond the reach of Yahweh, below all the world that is, perhaps here he could stay beyond his father's plan. We have seen this same area of being in the Lucifer 2018 run, written by Dan Watters, where the morning star falls into the cosmic undersea, where he can say that even his father, the presence, cannot reach or see him. But how can we be sure that this dark ocean is the Garbhodaka, Sea of Pralaya? Well, the comic actually says so, of course. According to the Hindu lore, Pralaya is the Garbhodaka Ocean, where Mahavishnu is laying and breathing into being innumerable universes. These universes and creations rise up from Brahma like cosmic bubbles, and then falling back into the ocean when the time of Brahma is upon us, or, in other terms, the Mahapralaya begins. I believe this is where many scalers must revise their outlook when they scale fictional characters in the Vertigo series and start to absorb the data provided within the comics. If we jump back to the original Lucifer 2000 series, written by Michael Carey, Lucifer enters the cosmic void beyond the boundary of creation and outside of his father's plan. Lucifer and these new few cosmic abstract creatures agree that this location is beyond the reach of Yahweh, the presence. The very same statement that Lucifer used to describe the Garbhodaka Ocean in the future Lucifer Vertigo series that would be written almost 18 years later. In this place, Lucifer denotes that creations rise and fall, lost forever in the void. Lucifer says this location is the ground floor, and also that this location is not the same as non-existence. These terms and phrases are specifically taken from the religious scripture of the Hinduism viewpoint, nearly word for word as they describe the Garbhodaka at the bottom of creation, the ground floor, and not the cosmic overarching void that contains all of creation. The void exterior all of creation that encompasses all of existence, a void that contains even the Mahapralaya, is called the absolute void in Hinduism. DC calls this version of the void the overvoid, or the monitor mind. How can we be 100% certain of this? Let's read into Grant Morrison's Super Gods novel, written back in 2011. In this book, Grant calls the source the Ein Sof Or. The Ein Sof Or being the source as we know it in modern DC Comics, exists in the center of the greater omniverse beyond the source wall, otherwise known as the overvoid. As mentioned prior, there are parallels between Hinduism and the Kabbalah, as referenced by this website, dictated by the researcher Ernest Rodriguez. He parallels that the Maharishi's teachings and the classic Kabbalistic tree of life have certain parallels between themselves. As he says, in the Kabbalah, there is no separation between the Ein, Ein Sof, and Ein Soft Or. So why am I even discussing this? What's the point of this video? The point is that Pralaya is the cosmic ground floor and not the absolute void of Hinduism. The Garbhodaka ocean is not at all the same as Parabrahman or the absolute void of Hinduism. That's the top realm. That's actually beyond the top realm. It contains even the top realm. The bottom portion of creation is the Garbhodaka. The top is the absolute void. These are completely different locations that couldn't be further away from each other. Lucifer's void, as we saw in the Lucifer 2000 series, where he escapes his father's plan, is consistently re-referenced in the 2016 Lucifer series as a place his father cannot go or see into. Moreover, this is the same location referenced in the 2018 Lucifer series, and is quite literally explained as the Garbhodaka. If we slide on back to the original Lucifer 2000 series, Lucifer's new friends, these cosmic weird creatures, say that this void is where his father cannot see or reach them. This is also where Lucifer says the ground floor of the cosmology is, and not the top. The ground, not the top. The Garbhodaka is the ground floor. The absolute void is the top, above the top that even contains the top as well. But how do we know that Grant understands what the top and the bottom is? Well, this is very easy to debunk with this interview from Grant that says the top of the cosmology is the overvoid, the absolute overmind that contains all of creation. Not that is the bottom of creation, but even past the top. And also past the top is the Ein Sof or the source. What is the Ein Sof again? It's the source. It is not the creator God, the presence. The presence cannot see in the Garbhodaka void. 3 Lucifer series have confirmed this. So now that is a factual piece of evidence against this in this case. The presence is the creator God, not the Pralaya. The creator, according to Pralaya, and also according to the Hindu religious viewpoints, falls into the slumber of the Garbhodaka ocean. That means the creator God falls into Pralaya. Why is this important to know that the presence is not the Ein Sof Or? Well, J.M. De Matteis has told us that his version of God is called the presence. But he confirms in this interview that his presence is not the father of Lucifer. He doesn't know who this picture is. And that the presence is a generalized term for the all-encompassing God of all religious deities. The term the presence, when referred to by J.M. De Matteis, is not the character Lucifer was talking to in the Lucifer 2000 series. Instead, the presence is a title being used to denote the cosmic overseer and ultimate God form, which is the Ein Sof Or. In this regard, Mahapralaya and the Garbhodaka ocean are aspects of this Ein Sof Or, so it fits perfectly. They are not aspects of the Garbhodaka ocean. In this very basic entry-level Hindu and Kabbalah stuff, you learn this in your first semester if you take any college courses on it, so it's a wonder to me as to why any scalers are insisting the complete opposite. This guy, the presence, the father of Lucifer, this presence title in the Vertigo series refers to the father of Lucifer and not the source. But this guy is not the presence that De Matteis is referring to. He generalized that the term the presence is the mystery God that is not the interpersonal, knowable God. His version of the presence is the unknowable version. This is the very definition of the Ein Sof Or the source in DC Comics. But why is this a problem? Well, in the Vertigo series, the source lives at the edge of creation and not outside of it. Lucifer flies to the edge of creation, to the Aleph, so he can view creation's entire history from the highest vantage point. Here, he says the source looms somewhere beyond that point. So to sum up, the source in Vertigo's cosmology is within the boundary of creation. The source in other DC canons exists outside of the source wall and very far past creation. In fact, it looms in the overvoid, inside of the absolute greater omniverse. However, the being known as the Presence in the Vertigo's cosmology has diminished abilities in the lower ground floor Garbhodaka void, which is still within the boundaries of creation. What does that mean? It means that the Vertigo cosmology is the smallest and the most contained cosmology in the entire DC hierarchy. It means that the Presence has no or little power on the ground floor of creation, the Garbhodaka ocean, which is Pralaya. And this Pralaya location is defined 3 times as the same place that Lucifer's white void we see in 3 different Vertigo series has said to be. The Presence has no power there. However, the Pralaya Garbhodaka ocean is merely the ground floor and the plot of land that creations get made and destroyed upon. The overvoid is the absolute void, a totally different name, a location that contains even the Einsoft ore, which is the source according to Grant and in other cosmologies. The Einsoft ore being the source is closed in, boxed in, and contained within the very walls of creation in the Vertigo series. If the source is inside of creation's final edge in the Vertigo series, that means it is bound by the Presence and below the Presence in scope in the Vertigo cosmology. Yet, the Presence is below the power of the Garbhodaka Sea of Pralaya. And all of this is infinitely below the absolute overvoid, the final anything, that which contains all of creation and also the Garbhodaka ocean. This 100% proves that the Presence from Vertigo is nowhere near the level of the overvoid, and that Pralaya is intended to consume the father of Lucifer, the creator god known as the Presence. But remember, these terms are selective and not referring to the same entity between authors. De Matteis says the Presence is a generalized term that is more like the Einsoft ore, the source, whereas the Presence in Vertigo series of comics is the father of Lucifer. The cosmologies aren't the same, but we can be certain as the sun sets every night that Vertigo's Lucifer series showcases the source within the boundary of creation, and every other single cosmology in DC Comics history showcases the source as exterior creation entirely and far, far above the Pralaya Garbhodaka. Lucifer never went to the overvoid. That's the absolute void, exterior all of creation, and far above all creations beyond the top of all existence. The Garbhodaka is the same place as Pralaya. Lucifer's white void is Pralaya. Thank you so much for watching, and please like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure to stop by my Discord if you want to chat with me anytime. It would be fun. Thanks so much.